Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back, and today we're going to take a look at a video about Bloodborne music. Okay, let's get right into it. German, the First Hunter's theme is not your typical boss music. Okay, let's see then.
This does not sound like your typical boss theme. Oh. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, I guess.
Oh my goodness. Two hunters fighting to save each other. The winner loses and the loser wins. To set Gehrman free, you become Gehrman. This sounds like a tragedy, and that's exactly what it is. And it's what the music of this game, and especially this boss fight, truly makes us feel. One of the marks of genius behind the soundtrack to the game Bloodborne is just how much of a difference it makes and how much it plays with our emotions when the music that you're hearing isn't what you expect in a typical boss fight.
That's
when
true.
The boss only wants to defeat you to save you. Oof.
Okay, that is pretty
We're
interesting.
establishing this D minor
Yeah,
bass.
it's
So
so
far,
so heartfelt.
we haven't heard anything move out of that. Oh. So there's a really beautiful thing going on with this orchestral arranging. It's absolutely stunning. And what we're doing is we're taking something as simple as the Aeolian mode or the natural minor scale, right? It's very simply
Natural minor Aeolian.
okay. So we have it's incredibly dark. We're establishing this extremely dark harmonic place right from the very beginning. And if you know any of the FromSoft games, you'll know that this is an absolute trademark. It's a trademark of Dark Souls, and Bloodborne is no exception. I think one of the things that gives it that incredible darkness is the fact that we are using the natural minor scale,
Just
which
a
has
natural
that,
minor.
what we might consider a flat 6. I feel like that gives it this darkness.
Yeah, you definitely hear it color the
Right? And if
tones.
you contrast that with something like the Dorian mode,
Yes.
it's kind of like what we get in more of a jazz
Yeah,
context.
jazzy.
Right? And that, it to me sounds much brighter. Does that make sense? Like it sounds.
Yeah, I feel you.
That note gives it a brightness that this music absolutely doesn't have. It's like everywhere that it could have a sad.
Yeah, the Dorian mode is kind of more upbeat, if that makes sense. And the natural minor is just kind of sad. So sad.
Tragic, dark resolution it does. Right there, and then also those two to me just feel so dark. Hey, it is that time of year again. We are running a 50% off sale on my best-selling course, The Intro.
That's
The thing that I
cool.
always wanted to do was create something that would be incredibly useful for you. And the way that I professionally, when I was learning exercises, teach you musical goals to guide aren't cause then on that in below. Your support greatly appreciated. So we're establishing that right from the very beginning. And the string writing is just beautiful.
Oh my god.
Whoa!
That's amazing.
Listen to that cello line. Something like that.
That's a nice ascension.
All of this rich harmony. And that's the beauty of using something like the Aeolian mode or the natural minor scale, is you can kind of just build any notes within that scale. Yeah.
Nice.
They all work. You can kind of do anything.
The movements feel so epic.
And you know, Bloodborne is a fascinating game with a brilliant soundtrack. And without going into too many details about this game, because the lore is incredibly in-depth, the important question that we're trying to answer here is, how did the composers write a track that could make us feel this tragedy? Instead of giving us this typical epic battle that we would expect in a boss theme, this is something different. In Bloodborne, you play as the hunter. You're trapped in a dream where you must find out what is causing the residents of a town to become horrific beasts. The lore, like I said, goes very deep. It's incredibly imaginative, unsurprisingly leading to the game being considered as one of the greatest video games of all time. But throughout the game, Gehrman, the first hunter, serves as a sort of guide, helping you as you progress. And it's only at the end where you're given a chance to either submit to him or fight him, a choice which will ultimately initiate one of 3 possible endings to this game. Right there, that sort of builds up. We might expect that that's where the percussion would come in and this epic battle would start. Right? It's kind of leading us into that feeling like, okay, something's gonna emerge here, but instead we just get that gorgeous cello melody. And it's just more of this intense, painful, haunting beauty.
Yes,
this very
absolutely.
D minor. Oh man, the whole thing. And you know, it's really fascinating. The way that this actually builds up in some ways reminds me of Samuel Barber's Adagio for Strings. And here we get the similar feelings of tragedy, but this build-up of the strings and the layers. Oof.
Wait a second. I just had to check it.
More of this intense pain that feel there. Okay, this very minor. Oh man, the whole D minor. Oh man, the whole thing. And you know,
D minor, the saddest of all the scales. D minor.
It's pretty. Yeah, I like it. Just been fooling about with it for a few months now. Very delicate.
It's a bit of a departure from the kind of thing you normally play.
Yeah, well, it's part of a trilogy, really, a musical trilogy that I'm playing in D minor, which I always find is really the saddest of all keys. I don't know why, but it makes people weep instantly to play it's a horn part.
It's very pretty.
You know, just simple lines intertwining. You know, very much like I'm really influenced by Mozart and Bach, and it's sort of in between those. It's like a Bach piece, really.
What do you call this?
Well, this piece is called Lick My Love Pump.
Oh my god. That's so good.
It's really fascinating. The way that this actually builds up in some ways reminds me of Samuel Barber's Adagio for Strings. And here we get the similar feelings of tragedy, but this build-up of the strings and the layers. Oof.
Very nice. The tension. Oh my god.
It just keeps going and building up this tragic harmonic feel. Now, the difference here is that with the Adagio for Strings, we are moving in different places harmonically. We have yet to do that in Gehrman the First Hunter. But we can hear some of those similarities. We're moving around a little bit. We can hear... We can hear our bass moving a little bit. Now, look at that! Where does that come from? It's this sudden pullback and chill, right? It's this quiet moment, this hush, all of a sudden. Not typical of a boss theme, but...
The release of all the tension, it feels so... unfulfilling.
He's not your typical boss. He's a character enslaved in eternal servitude to a miserable existence. And when it comes time to fight him, you're fighting a weary soul that wants their suffering to end, but he feels this duty to defeat you lest you suffer the same fate. See, if you submit and you let Gehrman kill you, you will wake up in the morning from this terrible dream, from this terrible nightmare, and you'll be free from the horror you've just been trapped in. But you are the last hunter, and for him, that would mean he's eternally stuck there. But then, if you fight him
That sucks.
and win, you become Gehrman. You are enslaved in this perpetual night, and the hunt begins again. An endless cycle that Gehrman was trying to free you from. But in this scenario, you end up freeing him. Oh, how do you create a soundtrack with this
So
level
cool.
of complexity?
Oh,
that can
so sick.
Make you as the player feel these emotions, feel this conflict. Neither character wants to lose, but winning means the ultimate sacrifice. So we build and we build,
Yeah.
and we eventually
It's heavy
find
stuff.
ourselves with the emergence of this all of a sudden just hush. Oof. It sits there for a moment, and then we get. This must be the main battle theme. We must be getting somewhere, right? This is where the percussion is going to come out of nowhere, and it's
Sounds
gonna
like a
drop us
build-up.
into this epic fight scene, right? No, that's not exactly what happens. In fact, it's not what happens at all. We get this build-up, but instead of a big theme, we get.
That's heartbreaking.
Oh, what a beautiful, haunting melody. Oof.
That is nice.
Now, I want you to check out those two phrases here. We have this opening phrase, but then the next kind of phrase is. So in a way, we have a call and a response. This asks a question, and this provides the answer. But the connection point between those two is a tritone.
Yeah. Yeah,
This is
the
like
tritone really colors with a a hefty amount of like it sticks out so much, like it's the most dissonant note on in a scale and on the keyboard.
tragedy embodied musically, right? I mean, we have this one ultra dark phrase, and then we have another dark phrase that resolves to that minor dark place that we've established. But to connect them, we get this cry out of a tritone.
That is nice, giving it a diminished vibe. Theme.
Oh,
Back to
man.
D minor.
It doesn't get more dark and tragic.
That's nice.
It's
Yeah.
almost like the theme itself is in tears. Rather
Yeah.
than feeling like you're defeating this evil beast of a boss, you almost feel like you're being forced to defeat a friend. You're forced to fight someone that is only fighting you because they're trying to save you. What better way to embody that than with the absolute most tragic dissonance and darkness that we can muster harmonically? In a lot of ways, all we need here is D minor and A dominant, the 5 chord of D minor. That's kind of all we need. We really don't need much else, because if we think about it, this chord, which looks like C sharp diminished, and you could absolutely call it that, we functionally could look at this as A7 with a flat 9. That would be a perfectly valid way to look at this chord. And that's just a 5 chord. So we have 1.
Sounds
5,
like a diminished chord.
Amazing how much emotional depth we can get out of 2 chords.
Yeah, because it's so dissonant.
Ooh. Yeah. It's like, how many many different ways can we voice 1 and 5 and 1 again? Ooh. Ah, what a beautiful melody.
Yeah. Angelic.
Notice we very rarely leave the pedal tone of D. And a pedal tone just refers to any bass note that gets held out, even as maybe the harmony changes
Yeah.
in the upper whatever instrumentation, right? So we're not always using a pedal tone on D, because we do move around a little bit. But for a lot of the time, it does appear that we're using that D below everything. And that continues giving us that ominous feel. Even as the melodies and the counter melodies, the counterpoint gives us lots of information. Oh, what's this? Hush.
Hi, what is the video you're watching? I'm watching a video about Bloodborne music. What's up? It's about a boss fight which has some interesting music you wouldn't expect. Oh my god, it's so nice with the choir and the timpani. You're so excited for Elden Ring DLC? Yeah, I bet it'll be super cool. Shadow of the Earth Tree? Is that what it's called? Or just the Earth Tree?
With the theme that we established. Right? We've come back to that theme now, but now we've brought in the voices, and this is like the closest thing we get to like the epic battle, right? But even still, it's not the same thing as we might expect, especially if we look at other games. I mean, check this out. How about a boss theme from Kingdom Hearts?
That's sick.
It's minor, right? But talk about so much more emotion. It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna
it's
fight,
so much more
It
busy.
feels so much more appropriate for a boss theme. How about Metal Gear Rising?
Yeah.
Lots of percussion, bang.
So epic. And a little bit
super cool, actually.
digital.
See, and it's like battle. This is a big battle. It's all of these boss themes. They just,
Yeah,
they just
dude.
have such like a. This is gonna be a massive battle feel to them. Even
The Bloodborne theme, it definitely subverts your expectations for an epic boss fight.
think about something like Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
So epic.
We all know how that one goes, right? But like these boss themes, and that's not really a boss theme, but it's a similar type of vibe, right? They just have an intensity to them that Gehrman, the First Hunter, does not have. And that's because the story and the reason you're fighting Gehrman is just sad. That's why it should mimic something a little closer to Samuel Barber's Adagio for Strings. It should have that feeling of tragedy, of just wanting to cry, of hopelessness. If you're familiar with the FromSoft games at all, you know that hopelessness is definitely a common theme. He was only protecting us from his own fate. Oh, wow. Two hunters, one wouldn't stand for the other to bear his fate. One wouldn't let the other suffer as he did. I mean, it's just perfect, right?
It's powerful.
This incredibly conflicted scenario where they don't want to fight, but they feel a duty to in order to save each other. What a brilliant concept for a boss fight. And it is only one of the many reasons that Bloodborne is widely considered to be on the list of the greatest video games ever made. But I want to know your thoughts. Is this one of your favorite boss themes? Is this one of your favorite games? What other boss themes do you think?
I haven't played it,
Let me
but
know in those comments below.
it
And that's all
definitely
for
made me
today's
want to
video.
play
Thank you
the
so much for
game.
watching. We will see you in the next
So
video.
awesome. So insanely cool. What a subversion of expectations, and I love it. Being kind of weird just for the sake of it, or kind of to do something new, and also something representing the emotional conflict in the scene. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.